All right, super excited for this one. As usual, there is Kiwi, and we do have a lovely guest today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Caro, short for Carolyn.
Okay.
How about I go like that?
All right. Where are you from?
I'm from all over the place, actually. Raised in Bullhead City, Arizona, represent, and then moved to Mexico when I was 15. So my Spanish is superb, and moved here in the Valley about, what was it now, like 5 years here? Yeah, been here 5 years.
Okay, that's cool. Well, welcome. Obviously, not the best state, but some may argue otherwise.
Gotta make the most of it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so I know it's been a minute, so Kiwi, what you been up to? What's new?
Yeah, it's a lot of school. Trying to get back into school, handle my business in that sector. Working for sure, looking for more upward mobility. It's Black History Month. Being a part of the African American board at McKesson, we've just been trying to, put on a bunch of shows, events, to show our culture, definitely and inform more people. Besides that, though, just trying to stay busy. Soccer, hanging out at home. How about y'all? What y'all been on?
What about you, Caro? What are you doing in your life?
I work from home, so I have a lot of time to myself. Yeah, been chilling with my dog Panini, and just taking it day by day. Really playing with makeup, meditating, going outside, working out. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I'm a pretty laid back person for sure.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong.
Meditating is good though, for sure. Get your head right. Stay outdoors.
Super relaxing.
That vitamin D.
Mental health check.
Oh, of course, self-love is the best love.
Yeah.
Protect your chickens.
For sure. How about you, fam? What you been on?
Let's see. So, finished school. Got my bachelor's in December.
Nice.
Thank you. Got a promotion at work.
Okay.
So, running things over there now.
Okay.
And just pretty much chilling. Did get out of a relationship, which this is what the video and what we're going to talk about today. Did get out of a relationship. So, just pretty much now I'm just back on the search to kind of find myself again and gain a clearer mind, do things that make me happy. That way I can just get back to my old self again. I feel like I had so much change that I threw a lot of my stuff that I like to do in my personal time away for someone. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it can be done in a healthy manner. And so, at least for me, I think that's a question I have is, how do you think a lot of people gauge relationships while also maintaining their own personal happiness? They're both mental and physical happiness.
Yeah, do you want to start?
Ladies first, for sure.
Okay, so I think with that question, it really has to depend on where that person stands first, right? Because a lot of people I feel nowadays are going into relationships for the wrong reasons. Instead of going into a relationship whole and, at least healed in some aspects of whatever traumas that they've experienced. And I feel like when people go into relationships healed for the right reasons, I think it's just free flowing, honestly, because there's this understanding yes, we're in a relationship, we have this partnership, but aside from that, I'm still my own person. I still have my own goals that I need to achieve in my lifespan, and that other person is along for the ride, instead of saying or being in a relationship I own you or you're here to make me feel comfortable. So that's where I would answer that question.
I definitely respect that having your own independence, individuality, you have to stay your own person. You don't want to be bogged down all the time. You don't want someone looking over your shoulder, looking at your every move, just trying to see what they can do to go ahead and either manipulate you or help you out in some way. But yeah, definitely handling your own and making sure you have that self-love, self-care, find your way to go ahead and get out and be your own self, your own person, it's definitely beneficial for sure. Otherwise, you get bogged down. You get in the repetitive. You're always looking for your significant other to assist you with certain things, and you're not able to handle your own.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, first off, are you single?
Yes.
Okay. Are you single, Kiwi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this makes it perfect because obviously all of us being single,
Singles
we're
club.
hey. But yeah, obviously we're able to just see kind of everybody's kind of experiences on what they've gone through dating wise, and I know I'm sure we've all had our fair share. The good ones, the bad ones. Obviously, none of them sit around, but but I mean, at least nonetheless, we can say that they've shaped us into obviously who we are today.
Yeah.
So, Caro, you did bring up a good point, and that's people being in the right headspace, going from one relationship to another. I think a lot of people, especially our age, they're just in that mindset of, all right, got out of a relationship, let me get on to something else to take my mind off of that last relationship. And I know a big part of me is, I can admit I was on that trend as well. But I think a lot of people also have trouble with being able to recognize it and
there's nothing
making
wrong
it.
with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. And I think just for myself, I know now I'm definitely trying to change things. So like as of right now, I'm not really trying to look for a relationship. If one comes, I'm not going to just automatically shut it down, but I'm just not going to be like, oh, I need to do this to get over this person. No, not at all. Like, I need to embrace all the feelings that, obviously, post-breakup, that you need to experience, as bad as it sounds.
Yeah, I feel like I like to like reference breakups some way. Like I think it's similar in like when people grieve, because you do lose part of yourself from a relationship, because like you identify a big part of your identity when you're in a relationship is the fact that you're in one with a partner, right? And their mannerisms or like their habits or their mindset, kind of, you absorb that. So when you break up with somebody, you then have to like regroup and say, okay, what parts of me are actually me, and then what parts of me were influenced by that person. What do I want to keep? What don't I want to keep? And then like having to go through that like process of assessing those feelings is part of like the healing, right? And the grieving, because you are going to lose parts of yourself. Like, wow, I really liked doing, X things with this person. Now I can't do that because it reminds me of that. So that part of you dies, right? And you have to accept the fact that will never be the same.
Yeah. I feel like it's a lot of self-awareness as well. Like you're saying, you go through those stages of grief, and you have to find yourself all over again. We were talking earlier, having to partially unlearn certain things about yourself because it seems like, oh, well, this person did this. Now I despise that. That's not something that I'm going ahead and allow it. That's not something that I'm going for. But at the same time, it allows you to learn what you do accept and what you do want in the future. Whether that be, any sort of love languages. If you see someone, you meet someone, hey, this is how they're going ahead and professing their feelings to me, and I'm accepting it, or this is something that I'm not used to, or I'm not going ahead and wanting to accept into my life. And you take those lessons and you go ahead and translate them into the future, like you were saying as well. You go ahead and learn, and you go ahead and take those, I wouldn't say situationships, because those, everyone can learn from those things, but as long as you're able to pick something from it and go ahead and move forward with it, that's the best outcome you can go ahead and take.
I think a big part of it is people suck with communication, and it's not even just saying, oh yeah, I have feelings for you, I don't have feelings for you anymore. It's just more so of, people can't be adults about anything anymore. It's just more so, oh, I'm losing feelings, alright, I can just dip out of here, I'm not gonna say nothing. Like, no, like, have the actual conversation to tell said person, alright, I don't think this is working, this is why I don't think it's working. So that person doesn't have to sit there like, well, that was weird, I thought things were going great, now they're just gone. What the heck?
Yeah, I feel like with those situations, it has to do with like fear of confrontation. Depending on what like the dynamic is of the relationship, because if it is like super you know, I'm not gonna say erratic, but like if like situations where somebody like gets too hype or whatever, they might be afraid to like, or you know, assumptions also come in too, like, oh, I don't want to have this conversation with my partner because they're gonna react and like get crazy on me and I don't know what they're gonna do. Or it's like not wanting to take accountability for saying, hey, my feelings right now are going to hurt you, and I'd rather hurt you in a different way where I don't have to look like the bad person, because the hurt person is going to take like offense to why are you hurting me, instead of like trying to understand like, okay, I get you, like you don't have feelings for me, damn, that sucks, you know, like it's such a weird scale to be on, because it is difficult to be vulnerable with people because you don't know how they're going to react or you're going to react. I know when I'm upset and I have a conversation with somebody, depending on how passionate I am about that feeling, I'll cry. It's not that I'm sad, it's just I don't know how to express myself without crying because I'm embarrassed of that vulnerability, you know?
Sometimes you really have to just take yourself back and out of the moment, you know, just kind of like suppress those emotions and just kind of like walk yourself through it bit by bit before you approach a situation. Because if you really feel like you can't communicate with someone in that moment, it's not worth trying, you know, immediately. Because you might first, you know, you might say something that you don't mean, you might regret it in the future. But sometimes as well, it's the best because you get that pure like emotion. It's raw. You know, like you're getting everything from you. So it also depends on who you're talking to, how comfortable you know they are, how they receive information as well, like you were saying. Because you're afraid to talk to someone and tell them that you know how your emotions are. Maybe that's not the person for you. You know, this person isn't willing to listen, or I know that if I bring something to their attention, they're gonna go ahead and freak out. I'm kind of scared to bring that to them. Maybe I should just not talk to this person anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a confrontational person, but I'm also not a serious person either. Like, I know when to be serious, but if you're gonna sit here and yell at me, I'm just gonna sit here and smile because it's the funniest freaking thing ever. Because, one, why are you yelling? And two, listen to what the hell you're yelling about.
Yeah.
Like, actually listen to yourself. And I don't know, I just always think it's funny because it's the delivery. It's how you deliver anything. There's definitely positive ways to deliver something negative. I mean, obviously it's not going to be comfortable for the receiving end, but again, there's a way to go about it that, again, many people do struggle with. Nobody knows that kind of middleman between it. So, I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm not saying that, you know, I can do everything right, but at the same time, like, I've gone through enough friendships, enough altercations, enough relationships to know when I've been wrong and just learn from those. So I think another part for me is definitely people don't commit to each other. And so I know for my past relationship, it was just stupidly on and off for over 2 years, it felt like. Have you guys had anything similar? Anything along the same lines?
What is like commitment though? Because I feel like a lot of people do have a different definition. Like, yeah, obviously you want to commit and be, you know, like monogamous, right? But okay, let's say you do have, like, I've had a monogamous relationship for, what was it, like 2.5, almost 3 years, and I still felt like that person wasn't committed to me. Like, just because they were committed to me sexually doesn't mean they were committed to me, like, when it came to needing certain things to be taken care of, or, you know, because, like, that it was, we were at that level of that partnership where it was, like, it wasn't an expectation, but it was like, hey, I'm struggling with this, like, are you gonna help me, you know? And I felt like their parents had too much say in our relationship, that I was like, I'm not dating your parents. So it was like I didn't feel committed to, because I felt like he was in a relationship with an idea of me instead of actually me. You know, and was like, well, my mom wants this for us, and I'm like, I don't care what your mom wants, you know. So like that type of commitment, it just depends on like.
See, I think that's interesting because having you here is great because being able to get the female side of it is awesome. Because
I'll tell
maybe
you, I'll tell you.
that's right.
Get all our cups ready.
I'm telling them.
But it's interesting to see because we think obviously the female is wrong, but then again we could be the ones wrong. We're just not either admitting it or we just don't recognize
Or
it.
blind to it,
Oblivious.
yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of men are oblivious to the signs.
So I
that
feel
slap it into us.
I feel like women definitely mature faster than men emotionally because we are emotional creatures.
Yeah.
But the way that a lot of women process that those emotions is like really immature, right? And that I feel like does cause a lot of problems because they want to make you absorb that because they don't know what to do with it. And then a lot too with like expectations, it's like, hey, I feel this way, I expect you to fix it for me, instead of knowing like, hey, you're still an adult, like you need to like fix that internally, express that to your partner, and then see how you can both tackle the problem instead of that you like giving them all the responsibility and say, hey, I feel like shit, take me out to eat because I know that's going to make me feel better.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do that. It's like, no, you don't,
Good luck to the communication, the delivery, if you're being respectful or, if you're being at least cognizant of their emotions as well. Like, hey, I know that they're not gonna like it if I go ahead and just jump their guns like this. Like, I need to go ahead and take the time and take my time to go ahead and deliver what I want to say to them nicely. Because then, of course, they're gonna get received properly and you might go ahead and get that dinner. But yeah, if they were that person to go ahead and provide that, they would be reading you as well and taking care of you in that manner.
Yeah. And I think that's people always rely on people to make them happy. And I think with that mindset going to a relationship, I personally feel it's gonna end poorly. Because I don't think you should rely on somebody solely making you happy. Like, if you can't make yourself happy, if you don't know what makes you happy, then how are you going to expect somebody to know what makes you happy?
And then that comes that self-awareness too. It's like, happiness isn't a goal or a state of being that's constant all the time. Like, it's like everything else, it flows in and out. Like, you can't be happy all the time. That's weird. Like, you have to be angry, you have to be tired.